That dull ache in your belly, the one you've been blaming on last night's dinner, or maybe on stress, or maybe on just getting older. What if your body's been trying to tell you something, and you've been too busy to listen? Because here's the thing. Your gut talks to you every single day. It tells you when something agrees with it, when something doesn't, when it's happy, when it's struggling. But there's a difference between a gut that's complaining and a gut that's warning. And today I want to walk through 7 signs, real, specific signs, that your intestines might be sending you a message that deserves your full attention. Not to scare you, never to scare you, but because knowing what to watch for is the single most powerful thing you can do for yourself. And then, because this is what we do here, I'm going to show you exactly which foods and preparations can support your gut health right now, today, with things you probably already have in your kitchen. Now, before we go any further, I want to be completely honest with you. I'm not here to diagnose anything. That's not my place, and it's not what this channel does. What I am going to do is help you recognize signals, understand what your body might be communicating, and give you real, natural ways to keep your digestive system in the best shape possible. If anything I describe today sounds familiar, really familiar, please talk to your doctor. Get the screening. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And if you're someone who's been looking for a channel that respects your intelligence, that gives you natural tools without the hype and without the fear, stay. Subscribe. Because that's exactly what we do here, week after week. We show up for people who are ready to understand their own body on a deeper level. You might be one of those people. All right. Sign number 1. And this is the one people dismiss the most. A change in your bowel habits that doesn't go away. Now, I'm not talking about the week you ate too much cheese at your daughter's holiday party. I'm not talking about travel constipation or the time you tried that new fiber supplement and things got unpredictable. I'm talking about something that shifts and stays shifted for weeks, maybe longer. Maybe you used to be regular as clockwork, every morning right after your coffee, and now suddenly things are different, looser, or harder, or more narrow, like the shape has changed. Or you're going more often, or less often, and you can't point to a reason why. See, your intestines have a rhythm. They really do. And when that rhythm changes without an obvious cause, no new food, no new medication, no major stress, your body's telling you something about what's happening inside that tract. Now, does a change in bowel habits automatically mean something terrible? No, absolutely not. Most of the time it's something else entirely. But when it persists, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, longer, that's worth a conversation with your doctor. Now, I know this one makes people uncomfortable. Nobody wants to look. Nobody wants to talk about it. But listen, if you notice blood in your stool, or on the tissue, or the water in the bowl has a reddish or dark tint to it, don't just look away and hope it was the beets you had for dinner. Sometimes it is the beets, by the way. I've had that moment of panic myself and then remembered, oh, right, I roasted a whole tray of those yesterday. But here's the distinction. Bright red blood, especially on the surface, is often hemorrhoids. Very common, especially if you've been straining or sitting a lot. Dark blood, almost black, tarry-looking stool, that can indicate something higher up in the digestive tract, and that absolutely needs medical attention. The rule I'll give you is simple. If you see blood and it happens more than once, or if it's dark, or if it comes with any other symptom on this list, you call your doctor. Period. Don't wait. Don't Google. Call. Now, in terms of supporting the lining of your intestines naturally, and this is something that can genuinely help with the everyday irritation that sometimes causes minor bleeding, I want to talk to you about something you can make today. Bone broth. Real bone broth. Not the stuff in the carton. I mean the kind you simmer on your stove for 12 to 24 hours with good bones from your local butcher or the meat counter at your grocery store. Beef marrow bones or a whole chicken carcass. You add a splash of apple cider vinegar, just a tablespoon or 2, and that helps draw the minerals out of the bones into the liquid. Low simmer. Patient simmer. The gelatin that comes out of those bones is like a gentle coat for your intestinal lining. It contains glycine, proline, glutamine, amino acids that your gut wall actually uses to repair itself. I make a batch every Sunday. Big stock pot. Bones, water, that splash of vinegar, a few vegetables, onion, celery, a couple of garlic cloves. I let it go overnight on the lowest setting. By morning, my whole kitchen smells like my grandmother's house on a Sunday. And that broth, you sip a warm cup of it every day. First thing in the morning or between meals, about 8 ounces. Your gut notices. I promise you, your gut notices. Sign number 3, unexplained weight loss. And I want to be specific here. I'm not talking about losing a few pounds because you started walking more or eating lighter in the summer. I'm talking about weight that comes off without you trying. 5 pounds, 10 pounds over a couple of months, and you didn't change anything. Your appetite might be the same, or, and this is the part that gets people's attention, your appetite might have dropped too, and you didn't notice because life is busy. You're in your 50s, your 60s, you're used to your body. You know what it does. So when the number on the scale drops and you didn't earn it, pay attention. That's your body redirecting energy somewhere. It might be nothing alarming, it might be thyroid, it might be stress you haven't named yet. But it can also be a sign that something is growing inside the intestinal tract and consuming resources your body needs. What I'd encourage you to do, alongside talking to your doctor about unexplained weight loss, is focus on nutrient-dense, gut-soothing foods that help your body absorb everything it can from what you eat. And one of the most underrated tools for this is fermented foods. Real sauerkraut, not the pasteurized kind on the regular grocery shelf, but the raw, refrigerated kind with live cultures. Or better yet, make your own. It's absurdly simple. Shredded cabbage, good salt, about 2 teaspoons of sea salt per pound of cabbage. You massage it until the juices release, pack it into a jar, keep it submerged under its own brine, and wait. 5 to 7 days at room temperature. That's it. Those live bacteria support your gut's ability to break down food and absorb nutrients. They're like little maintenance workers keeping the machinery running well. 2 or 3 forkfuls of sauerkraut alongside your meal, especially your heavier meals. That's enough. You don't need a bowl full, just a little. Consistent though, daily. Sign number 4, and this one hits home for a lot of people at this stage of life. Persistent fatigue that rest doesn't fix. You know the kind I mean. You slept 7 hours, maybe 8. You didn't do anything particularly exhausting yesterday, but you wake up and it's like someone turned your battery down to 40% overnight. And it stays there. Through your morning coffee, through your shower. You sit down in your armchair to read the paper, and you could fall right back to sleep. Now, fatigue has 100 causes. I know that. But when it comes alongside changes in your digestion, when it's paired with any of the other signs on this list, it deserves extra attention. Because here's what happens. If there's slow bleeding happening inside the intestine, sometimes so slow you don't even see it, your iron levels drop. And low iron means low energy. Your body can't carry oxygen efficiently. Everything feels harder. This is where food becomes genuinely powerful. Dark leafy greens, and I don't just mean a handful of spinach thrown on a sandwich. I mean real, intentional portions. A big skillet of sautéed kale with garlic and a squeeze of lemon. That lemon matters, by the way. The vitamin C dramatically increases how much iron your body absorbs from plant foods. Without it, a lot of that iron just passes through. So every time you eat your greens, add something acidic. Lemon juice, a splash of vinegar in your dressing, a few slices of bell pepper on the side. I started pairing my morning greens with half an orange on the side, and I'll be honest, I noticed a difference in about 10 days. More steady energy in the afternoons. Less of that 3 o'clock collapse where you're staring at the wall wondering if it's too early for bed. And here's something else worth knowing. Cooking in a cast iron skillet, the old-fashioned kind, the one maybe sitting in the back of your cabinet right now, actually leaches small amounts of iron into your food, especially when you're cooking acidic things. Tomato sauce in cast iron? That's iron-enriched tomato sauce without trying. Your grandmother knew that without reading a study. Now, if you've been dealing with fatigue for a while, and you haven't had blood work done recently, get your iron and ferritin checked. That's a simple blood test. Don't guess. Know. And if this is the kind of thing that makes you feel like, okay, this channel gets it, this channel actually cares about what I'm going through, then do me a small favor. Hit that like button. Not for me, but because it helps this video reach someone else who's been too tired to figure out why, and maybe today's the day they start connecting the dots. And if someone came to mind just now, a friend, a sister, someone you've noticed seems run down lately, send them this video. You don't have to explain anything, just send the link. Sometimes that's enough. Sign number 5. Abdominal pain or cramping that keeps returning to the same spot. A stomach ache is one thing. We all get those. But I'm talking about a pain that has an address. It lives in one place, lower right, lower left, deep in the center. And it comes back. Not every day necessarily, but often enough that you've started to notice the pattern. Maybe it's worse after eating. Maybe it wakes you up. Maybe it's a cramping that builds, holds, then releases. And you think, maybe it's gas. Maybe it's something I ate. And maybe it is. But when it has a location and it recurs, that's your body flagging something specific. Intestinal pain that's positional and persistent can indicate a blockage, inflammation, or a growth that's pressing on surrounding tissue. This is one where I don't want you to wait. If you're having recurring pain in the same abdominal area, especially if it's new in the last few weeks or months, get it checked. Now, while you're supporting your gut generally, and this won't address a mass or a blockage, but it will support the overall comfort of your intestinal tract, turmeric. But done right. Because here's something most people don't realize. Turmeric on its own, the powder from your spice cabinet, has very poor absorption. Your body barely takes it in. Unless you combine it with two things, black pepper and a healthy fat. Here's my evening routine that I've settled into and genuinely look forward to. I heat up about a cup of coconut milk, not boiling, just warm enough to hold comfortably. I stir in a half teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch, a tiny pinch, maybe 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper, and a small spoonful of raw honey after it cools just a bit so you don't kill the enzymes in the honey. The piperin in black pepper increases turmeric absorption by something like 2,000%. Without it, most of that beautiful golden powder is wasted. That warm cup in the evening, it's comforting on its own, but the curcumin in that turmeric is a profound anti-inflammatory for your entire digestive tract. It soothes, it calms, it helps your gut lining stay resilient. Oh, and one thing I almost forgot. If you take blood thinners, talk to your doctor before adding turmeric regularly. It has mild blood thinning properties of its own, and you don't want those to stack unpredictably. Not dangerous in cooking amounts, but a daily golden milk is concentrated enough to matter. Just a quick check-in with your doc. That's all it takes. Sign number 6. A feeling of fullness or bloating that won't let up, especially in the lower abdomen. Not the bloating you get after a big Thanksgiving dinner. That's normal. That goes away. I'm talking about a heaviness, a sense of pressure, like something is occupying space down there that shouldn't be. And it might be constant, or it might come and go. But when it's there, it's uncomfortable enough that you notice it while you're sitting in your car, while you're trying to button your pants, while you're sitting in church and shifting in the pew trying to get comfortable. This can happen when something is physically changing the shape of the intestinal passage, narrowing it or pressing on it from inside, and the gut, not able to move things through as freely, builds up gas and pressure behind the obstruction. Again, there are many benign causes for this. Food intolerances, bacterial imbalance, hormonal changes. But when it's persistent and resistant to the usual fixes, when you've tried cutting back on certain foods and it doesn't budge, it's worth investigating further. What I'll tell you for everyday gut comfort and reducing that constant bloated feeling, and this has been genuinely life-changing for a lot of people I know, is ginger. Real, fresh ginger root. Not ginger ale, not ginger-flavored anything. The actual knobby root from the produce section. Peel a piece about the size of your thumb. Slice it thin. Simmer it in 2 cups of water for 15 to 20 minutes. You want the water to turn a pale golden color, and you want to smell that warm, spicy sharpness rising from the pot. Strain it. Sip it warm. You can add a little honey, a little lemon. Ginger is a prokinetic. That's a fancy way of saying it helps your intestines remember how to move. It stimulates the natural wave-like contractions that push food through, so things don't just sit there fermenting and building pressure. I keep a piece of ginger root on my counter the way some people keep a salt shaker. It's there. It's ready. 2 cups a day, 1 mid-morning, 1 after dinner, and that bloated, stuck feeling starts to lift within a few days for most people. Oh, and here's a small thing I wish someone had told me earlier. Don't boil the ginger hard. A gentle simmer. If you boil it aggressively, you lose some of the volatile oils that are doing the real work, the gingerols and shogols. Low and slow, patient simmer, just like the broth. Seems like patience is the secret ingredient in most of what works, doesn't it? And sign number 7. This one's subtle. A new or increasing sense of incomplete evacuation. The feeling that you went to the bathroom, everything seemed normal, but you still feel like there's something there, like you're not done, like you need to go again in 20 minutes. This is one that people feel embarrassed to even mention to their doctor, but it's important, because that feeling, that persistent sensation that the bowel didn't fully empty, can indicate something occupying space in the lower bowel. It can be a growth, it can be inflammation, it can be muscle coordination issues. Whatever it is, it deserves attention, not shame. And from a supportive standpoint, to keep your lower bowel as comfortable and functional as possible, I want to mention something simple that's been used for generations. Flaxseed. Whole flaxseed that you grind fresh right before using. A coffee grinder works perfectly. 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed stirred into a glass of water first thing in the morning. It forms a gentle gel, a mucilage, that lubricates the intestinal walls and adds soft, easy-to-pass bulk. It's not a laxative, it's not harsh. It's like giving your intestines a smooth path to work with. But here's the key. You grind it fresh. The pre-ground flaxseed in bags on the shelf, it goes rancid fast. Those delicate omega-3 oils oxidize within days of grinding. So buy the whole seeds, keep them in a jar in your cabinet, and grind just what you need that morning. 30 seconds in a coffee grinder. You'll smell the difference. Fresh ground flax smells nutty and clean. Rancid flax smells like oil paint. Trust your nose. And drink a full glass of water with it. That matters. The fiber needs water to form that gel. Without enough liquid, it can actually make things feel more stuck, not less. Full glass every time. Now, I want to step back for a moment and talk about something that ties all of this together. If you're listening to this and thinking, okay, 2 or 3 of these sound like me, I don't want you to spiral into worry. That is not why I made this video. Most of these signs, taken individually, have common, manageable explanations. Hemorrhoids cause blood. Food intolerances cause bloating. Stress causes fatigue. A new medication changes your bowel habits. These things are true, and they're far more likely than something serious. But, and this is the part I care about, when multiple signs cluster together, or when one sign persists despite your best efforts to address it, that's when screening becomes genuinely important. And here's what I want you to know. Intestinal cancer, when caught early through screening, has an extremely high survival rate. The difference between catching it early and catching it late is often just one test, one colonoscopy, one conversation with your doctor that you kept putting off. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Not as some voice on the internet, as someone who genuinely cares about the people who show up here. If you're over 50 and you haven't had a colonoscopy, schedule one. If you've been noticing things and explaining them away for months, stop explaining. Start asking. Your doctor is not your adversary. Your doctor is your teammate. Natural care and medical care are not opponents. They work on the same side. The foods and preparations I share with you here, they support your body. They keep it resilient. They help it function well. But they are not a substitute for a screening that can save your life. Specifically, call your doctor if you have blood in your stool that happens more than once, unexplained weight loss of more than 10 pounds, persistent abdominal pain in a fixed location, a change in bowel habits lasting more than 3 weeks with no clear cause, or any combination of the signs I've described today. These are not reasons to panic. They're reasons to get information, and information is always, always better than wondering. If you're currently taking daily medications, blood thinners, blood pressure medication, diabetes medication, and you want to incorporate any of the remedies I've mentioned today, just check with your doctor or pharmacist first. Turmeric and blood thinners, ginger and blood pressure medication. These are interactions worth being aware of. Not dangerous interactions in most cases, but worth knowing about. Take care of yourself the same way you'd take care of someone you love, with attention, with gentleness, and without delay when something matters. So let me bring this home for you. 7 signs to watch for. A persistent change in bowel habits, blood in the stool, unexplained weight loss, fatigue that rest can't fix, recurring pain in one specific spot, persistent bloating or fullness in the lower abdomen, and that feeling of incomplete evacuation. And alongside watching, you keep your gut strong. Bone broth simmered low and slow, a cup every day, coating that intestinal lining with healing gelatin. Fermented sauerkraut, homemade or raw from the refrigerated section, a few forkfuls with your meals for gut bacteria that earn their keep. Dark leafy greens paired with vitamin C for iron your body actually absorbs. Turmeric with black pepper and fat in a warm evening cup. Fresh ginger simmered gently, twice a day, to keep things moving. And fresh ground flaxseed in water every morning for smooth, lubricated transit. You came into this video maybe feeling a little nervous. Maybe something's been nagging at the edge of your thoughts. And I hope you leave feeling like you have 2 things. Knowledge. Clear, honest knowledge about what to watch for. And tools. Real, practical, kitchen counter tools to support the part of your body that does so much for you every single day without being asked. Remember that achy belly we started with? The one you were blaming on last night's dinner? Maybe it was just dinner. But now you know the difference between a complaint and a warning, and you know how to listen. That changes everything. If you're new here, this is what we do every week. Real answers, real remedies. No hype, no miracles. Just a warm kitchen and a genuine desire to help you feel better in your own body. I'll see you in the next one. Take good care of yourself.